Hello friends, how are you? Hope you are doing well. So let us start the discussion of our second ESG topic out of 125 ESG topics discussion. So I hope you like the first topic, which was about the documents which we see on day-to-day basis in ESG business or ESG management system. So second example is related to the components of an ESG policy, environmental social governance policy. What we cover in this policy? So the typical components of ESG policy, which is like introduction, purpose, commitment statement, the scope and applicability of the policy, the ESG principles, risk management, legal and regulatory compliance, goals and targets, implementation plans, monitoring and reporting, stakeholder engagement, training and awareness, and continuous improvement. So let us discuss all the components one by one. So what we cover in introduction and the purpose. So the introduction is about an overview of the policy's objectives and importance in the guiding the company's ESG efforts. Now next is commitment statement. What is commitment statement? This is a very clear and concise statement from the leadership which is expressing the company's commitment to ESG principles and its integration into the business operation. The next is scope and applicability. Scope and applicability is about the clarification of the scope of the policy, including which entities, which operations and stakeholders it applies to. So basically about the boundary setting actually. And then we talk about next ESG principles. This is nothing but articulation of the core ESG principles that the company aims to uphold, such as like environmental stewardship, social responsibility and the sound governance practices. Next is about the legal and regulatory compliance. This is about the assurance that the company will comply with relevant laws, regulations and standards related to ESG. The next is risk management practices. Risk management is nothing but like identification and assessment of the ESG risks that may impact the company's operations, the reputation, image, brand image and shareholders, along with the strategies for mitigating these risks. Next is about the goals and targets. So setting the measurable goals and targets, smart objectives, goals and targets for improving ESG performance over time. So keeping in mind the timeline and alignment with the company's overall strategic objectives also. Then next comes implementation plan. This is about detailing the detailed plans and procedures for implementing the ESG policy throughout the organizations and including the roles and responsibilities, timeliness and resource allocation also. Then next comes about the monitoring and reporting. Monitoring and reporting means there must be some mechanism for monitoring and evaluating the company's progress towards the ESG goals, as well as the procedures for reporting ESG performance internally and externally. The next comes very important subject, stakeholder engagement. So this is nothing but strategies for engaging with the stakeholders, having the stakeholder engagement plans, including stakeholders like investors, employees, customers, supplier, communities and advocacy groups. We can say internal and external stakeholders to gather input and feedback for ESG initiatives. Next comes the training and awareness, where we talk about the programs and initiatives aiming at educating the employees, the stakeholders about ESG principles, the policies and the practices, and fostering a culture of sustainability and responsibility. Then last but not the least, we talk about the continuous improvement. This is nothing but the commitment to regular review and refinement of the ESG policy and associated practices based on the feedback what we receive from our stakeholders. Okay, the performance data, the emerging trends in the sustainability. So by addressing all these components of the policy, ESG policy, which is providing a comprehensive framework for integrating environmental social governance considerations into business decision making and operations and driving the long-term value creation, and finally the positive impact. So basically what we want to achieve, the positive impact, and in terms of the alignment with sustainable development goals. Thank you very much. We will discuss the next topic in the next discussion. Thank you very much.